All right, so the second part of our video is going to go from intercept to standard form. In this instance, we are going to be given we're going to write our equation in intercept form, which is our a times x minus p times x minus q. So we're going to try to get it to look like this, and then again expand out to get it into standard form. In this case, we'll be given our two roots or our x-intercepts, and we'll also be given our point, just like we did before. So we are going to look for a by plugging everything in. So we'll have a value for our y or our f of x value, our x value, our p value, and our q value. And then we'll solve for a. And then we'll multiply the two parentheses out, combine like terms, and distribute our a value. So I know that says a lot. So we're going to say this is our p sub 0. So this is our first root. This is our second root. And this is our xy point. So again, as we look up at the top, we look at our equation in standard or in intercept form, which is y is equal to a times x minus p times x minus q. And we're going to substitute our values in and solve for a. So notice again, our y is -8. A is what we're looking for. Our x is 4, and that's going to go in both x positions. And then we're going to subtract our p value. So in this case, we're going to subtract 3, and we're going to subtract 6. And then we just do the math. So we have -8 is equal to a. 4 minus 3 is 1. 4 minus 6 is -2. And so as we multiply the left-hand side, we have -8, or simplify the right-hand side, we get -2a. And now we're going to solve that. And so we'll divide both sides by -2, and we'll get a is equal to 4. So as we have a is equal to 4, we're going to rewrite our equation. We've got y is equal to, or f of x, whatever form we're using. This is 4. This is going to be x minus p, which is 3, and then x minus q, which is 6. And that leads us to our step 3, which is we're going to multiply our parentheses. And again, you guys can do that with box, or you can do that with just distributive property. So this is x -3, this is x -6. So as we multiply, we have x squared, -6x, -3x, and 18. And so as we look at that, we are now going to combine like terms. So that's our diagonals. And so we're going to get y is equal to 4. And then as we simplify, we have the x squared. -3x and -6x is -9x. And then plus 18. And then our final step will be to distribute that 4 out so that we can get it in standard form. And remember that standard form is just the ax squared plus bx plus c. So as we distribute that, notice that we have our ax squared, our bx term, and then 4 times 18. So that's going to give us 32, so 72. And you guys can use your calculator if you need to. Remember that this is our standard form, but we got that from our intercept form. All right, so our next example is going the other way. So we know what our x-intercepts are. And so we have x-intercepts or our roots. However, that's going to be said, our zeros, those are all the same thing. So as we look at our x-intercepts, we have one at -1, 0, and we have one at 3, 0. We also need to use a point that's on my graph, and you guys can pick if it's not given to you as an actual point, then you need to try to find one, and you guys can use whatever point you have. So in this case, as we look, we're going to use the point. And again, you have lots of options. You could use the point 1, 4 because you're given it. You could use the point 2, 3 if you wanted to, or you could use the point 0, 3. Any of those points would work. We're going to use the point 2, 3, it looks like. So let's use 2, 3, just because the other point in this problem is our vertex, and then our 3 is our y-intercept. And so I'd like to do something that's a little bit different. So as we're looking at our equation again, we have y is equal to a times x minus p and x minus q. And we're going to plug our values in. So we have our point here, which is our xy, and we have this as being our p and this is our q. So as we plug our values in, we're going to go 3 is equal to a. Our x value is 2. And remember, it's 2 in both problems, or both sets of parentheses, I should say. And our p value is a -1. So we're going to do minus a -1, which is really +1, and minus 3. And so we're going to get 3 is equal to, we simplify each set of parentheses. So this is 3. 2 minus 3 is -1. And I just want to talk about this one more time. Remember that when I say that, my standard form is 2 minus -1. When I say it's a positive, it's because minusing a negative is the same thing as adding a positive. And I just want to make sure that we're okay with that. So 2 plus 1 is 3. 2 minus 3 is -1. As we simplify the right-hand side, this gives us a -3. So when I divide both sides by -3, we're going to get -1. And based off our picture, that should kind of help us see that, because we are looking at our graph and it's going down. All right, so as we get our -1, we're now going to use that to write our standard form. And so as we fit that in, we are going to go from here. So we'll just write it as y is equal to -1 times x plus 1 and x minus 3. And that's me just taking this a value and these 2 points and plugging it in. And so I'm just rewriting my problem. And so now, again, whether we're doing box or whether we are doing distributive property, it doesn't matter. It's whatever you feel more comfortable doing. So this is x plus 1, this is x minus 3. So we have x squared, -3x, 1x, and -3. As we combine, we have y is equal to -1. And as we simplify, we have x squared minus 2x minus 3. And now we want to make sure we distribute that negative sign. So as we're distributing, we're giving that -1 to everything. And so our final equation is going to be y is equal to -x squared. -1 times -2 is positive 2x. And -1 times -3 is positive 3. And hopefully you notice that that has a few things that we know. We know that it goes down. We also know that it has a y-intercept of 3, which is our value right here. And so I could have picked that number and plugged it in and I'd get the same equation. I just wanted to pick a point that wasn't like one of our key features that we've looked at previously. I hope that helps. If not, make sure you ask for some help. And that is it for this section.